their lack of information. We weren't really sure what was going on. I know that there was a communication with the sheriff's office at some point with Judge Lombard. I wasn't actually involved in that conversation because I was still on the bench. But as time went on, we were requesting information about security of judges, and we weren't getting that information. So it was a conversation that was had with judicial, administrative support, and so on, and that was something that was done out of an abundance of caution, again, for everyone in the building.
Do you feel safe tonight?
Yes, I feel perfectly safe.
And I know you understand, you said the constable's office at Shorty is assisting with the security of judges. What are your feelings about your safety tonight?
I feel safe. I can honestly say I feel safe. I will never comment on somebody else's level of their safety or their security, but I am comfortable as far as me and my family is concerned. But again, we have witnesses who are involved in these cases. Some of the cases are closed, but most of the cases of the defendants who escaped are open. So I understand victims of those cases being afraid. I understand witnesses in those cases being afraid. But as for me and my family, I think that we are fine. I really appreciate Constable Shorty offering to provide security details to all of the judges who are requesting them.
All right. Please stay safe tonight.
Judge, thank you.
Oh, so they're offering security to the judges and all that stuff because people are worried. Judges, lawyers, they're worried that some of these people might go out and try to retaliate against these people.
Thank you for your time and kind of walking us through the concerns there with the judges and the court. Still a lot of unanswered questions here. Elizabeth Kubel has been helping us with our coverage all day following this story. She has been at the NOPD headquarters with the latest on
Constable Shorty, is that her thing?
Yeah, and we have been talking about it too, Gina and Sulla as well. I know that we have been highlighting that there is a graduation happening right across the street at the Superdome. I can hear it right now playing through some loudspeakers. So it just underscores that people are out and about right now, of course, as this manhunt continues. That is why the NOPD is pushing this message that if you see anything suspicious at all, just go ahead and say something, that this is obviously a serious and an urgent situation. So that was their main message when they held a press briefing right here at NOPD headquarters earlier today. And the superintendent said she was doing that to be
hours, Gina, since they escaped, and you heard security expert Mike Kahn say no telling where they may be right now at this point. What happened? He also said it's possible that they could have carjacked someone and gotten a vehicle. We don't know right now, but again, a manhunt underway right now.
And Sheriff Susan Hudson is giving a press briefing update right now.
There we go. That's what I want to get the update press briefing.
Instruction. We'll also be showing a video that will be shared on the screen behind you. So surveillance video will be shown, and we'll also hear from Crime Stoppers Cassandra and FBI representative as well.
How soon until we start?
Matthew, if they show surveillance, you can zoom in if they show surveillance on the screen too. Awesome, thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, this is I rewinded this just a little bit because we just missed the press
conference. You can see the briefing room at the Sheriff's Department as they are getting ready to start that press briefing. You saw the Sheriff's press person indicating who will be speaking. We're hearing from the Sheriff. She's walking up to the podium. We're also expected to see some video and hear from other folks as well. But Sheriff Susan Hudson here with an update.
They don't understand. I became the villain.
All right. Yep. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here so we can get more information out to our community. We are joined here today by our partners who are helping us to put this investigation together to get these folks back into custody. We are joined here by the FBI, the new SAC who's in the back, We are also joined by our partners at the New Orleans Police Department, Chief Gantier, the State Police. We've got a couple of members of the State Police also here to support us. Crime Stoppers and CEO Costanza. And we are going to start off with OPSO Major Silas Phipps Jr., who is over our Investigative Services Bureau, to give you an update about that. We'll then have Chief Jay Mallett, who is our warden over the jail, to discuss a little bit more about that. Major Stephanie Minto, who is our Crime Victims Reparations Unit Commander. Darlene Costanza will be next after that, and then the SAC from the FBI will be final. Major Phipps.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all for being here. I'll start by providing you an update on where we are with the investigation. Just an overview of the original timeline. So at approximately 8:30 this morning, OPSO jail operations staff found that several inmates on Pod 1 Delta were missing during their head count. That jail staff immediately began a systematic search of the facility for those inmates as members of our investigatory team began combing through video to see where they could have gone. At the time of the incident, there was no deputy physically on Pod 1 Delta, and the technician that was assigned to the housing unit module had actually stepped away to grab food. After reviewing video, we noticed that at 12:22 a.m., several inmates on Pod 1 Delta were observed jarring one of the sliding doors open, specifically on cell Delta 1006. At 12:43 a.m., those same individuals entered that cell. At 1 a.m., they were observed on camera exiting our facility using an adjacent loading dock door, so a loading dock door adjacent to that pod, and subsequently going down a side road behind our building, still within our secure perimeter between the Phase 3 facility that's currently under construction. At 1:19 a.m., they were then observed scaling the fence along the I-10 between our building and the currently under construction Phase 3, using blankets to avoid being cut by the barbed wire.
And that's interesting because the other lady was like, somebody had said, "Oh, we got to get barbed wire up there." It looks they had barbed wire.
Those individuals subsequently ran across the westbound and eastbound lanes of I-10 and then entered the neighborhood. This morning, after investigators became involved, they subsequently found clothing that they shed in that neighborhood. Although it was previously reported that there were 11 escapees, there were 10. 9 remain at large. Right. 1 was apprehended earlier today, which you've covered, and 1 person previously reported as an escapee was located inside the facility. As of right now, 3 employees have been placed on suspension pending.
3 employees on suspension. 3 employees on suspension. And they're supposed to be dropping some type of video. They said they're going to show surveillance, I think.
As of right now, 3 employees have been placed on suspension pending the outcome of this fluid and ongoing investigation. Okay. We do have a video we're going to play with you, and I will kind of narrate just to kind of show you what I've already said, and then I'll go from there after. So if you take a look at the screen. So as you see here, on the screen, this is where you see inmates jarring open this sliding door to the cell that they used to escape.
Okay, so let me just take this back. I want to clip this too. So here's the video.
So as you see here, on the screen, this is where you see inmates jarring open this sliding door to the cell that they used to escape. The whole, this is, so,
wow.
We'll provide this to y'all as well.
So you see them jarring open the door. They open. Subsequently, they go inside that cell, and this is where you see them exiting the loading dock door.
Party!
As you know, if you notice, they are carrying blankets with them. This road that they're going out of is behind this building. as I explained. They subsequently go through another door, and here, at some point, you will see them come through here, and they scale the fence through this door that's near the construction site. They scale that fence, and then make good on their escape, crossing all lanes of I-10. And that's where you see them going across that street.
Damn, pimping. I even see them crossing the street and everything. Wow. There you go. Look, they're running too. The traffic's coming. They don't give a shit. Oh. Wow.
In this case, as Casey said, we'll share those videos with you all.
Took off, baby. Felony Friday, baby. Follow me on Icked Mel YouTube. Fuck all the other places.
So if you had video of them.
1 second, we still have more to go. Okay.
Wow.
We would like to acknowledge the over 200 law enforcement personnel that are assisting in this investigation. They represent partner agencies, Louisiana State Police, Department of Public Safety and Corrections, Louisiana Office of Probation and Parole, Louisiana Attorney General's Office, the New Orleans Police Department, the Orleans and East Jefferson Levy District Police Departments, the United States Marshal's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Homeland Security Investigations, the Office of Alcohol, Tobacco Control and Explosives, the St. Tammany and St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Offices. I will now turn it over to Chief Jay Mallett.
Thank you. What I would like to do is kind of point to you what we believe is the exit point of where the inmates left. What you're looking at here is a vantage point where you're behind the cell in the pipe chase. And as you can see, these are rebars that reinforce the structure. There are clean cuts here, and the plumbing had been removed. All this is on the outside of the cell behind in the pipe chase. This is how it looks initially. As you can see, we have bolts that hold those fixtures in place. These are again on the back side into the pipe chase. All of this has been removed and these have been clean cut. We have reason to believe that there was some assistance with this. That's why we're thoroughly investigating. And as Major Phipps has said, we placed 3 individuals on administrative leave pending the outcome of this investigation.
Good afternoon, all. I am Major Stephanie Minter Gibson, and I oversee the Crime Victims Unit for the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. Once I was notified about the escapees, I immediately gathered a team of experienced staff, and we started calling victims and survivors just to make sure that they are aware of what was going on and that they are safe.
Yeah, I like that glass.
For the records
they're a little much.
that had no information, I immediately reached out to our partners. Partners such as NOPD Special Victims Unit, Detective Walton, who was very grateful in helping us, and she provided us with other information that we were able to call those families and help them as well. Once we finished the first batch of victims, we started calling the second batch, and actually the reason why I'm saying that is because I separated them. The chief from the DA's office, victims, Alison Morgarder, reached out to me, and we both were calling victims. What she had and I did not have, we shared information, and we both gathered all the information, and we made sure all victims.
They said she looks like the Riddler. Cicada woman. Oh, cricket eyes. Oh, gosh.
Were aware of what was going on. Most of the victims were very grateful for the calls. They graciously thanked us. We additionally sent our detectives to their homes for more safety measures, and that alone speak measures. I strongly encourage all to educate the community on the importance of Vine Link. This is a free app that is listed online, and it is also a guide for victims and survivors to track offenders while they navigate the criminal justice system. The number for Vine is 1-800-277-7477. I'm sorry, it's 1-866-277-7477. We are located here on the 3rd floor of the Sheriff's Office, and our contact number here is 504-8 827-6754, 504-202-9229. Thank you.
Good evening. As you know, Crime Stoppers has been in this community offering asking for anonymous tips and offering cash rewards for that information for over 40 years, close to 50 years. And what we do is we allow you to come forward through either our phone number, and that number you hear it every day, 504-822-1111. You can go to the crimestoppersgno.org website and post a tip, or you can use our mobile app. It's Crime Stoppers GNO Say It Here. No matter how you come to Crime Stoppers, you remain anonymous. We're not tracking your IP, we're not tracking the phone number, we're not asking you to be a witness. But what we're asking you to do today to help the individuals here is to make the call. If you know someplace that someone likes to frequent, you know someplace that they may be, somewhere they might visit, a friend that might be helping, give the call, make the call, send the tip. Now today we're also announcing an increased reward of $2,000 on each apprehension. So if there are 9 individuals that we're looking for, that's $2,000 on each of the 9 individuals. You have to go through Crime Stoppers. We asked you to come through Crime Stoppers because we're going to keep you anonymous. That's the trusted program. That's the way that we operate. But know that the reward is there if your information leads to the apprehension, and that will come from law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Tapp, Special Agent in charge of the FBI here in New Orleans. FBI New Orleans has a command post up and running to help search for the escaped inmates. We are offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to the arrest of any of these escaped inmates. If you have information on their whereabouts, we're asking you call 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip online to fbi.gov/New Orleans fugitives. We're working side by side with our law enforcement partners. New Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office remains the lead investigative agency here, and we are helping. Thank you very much.
We'll take questions from each. Go ahead from Chamber 4.
Yeah, is there any indication that friends or family on the outside were aware in advance or communicating about these plans?
And we're not going to get into the details of the investigation, Major Phipps, but we're looking at all angles.
What does it say, and I mean this respectfully, but you said, and I'm going to quote you here, that you observed those guys running out at 1 o'clock in the morning. What does it say for jailhouse safety and security when you see a jailbreak like that, but you fail to notify anyone, NOPD, the public, anyone?
We didn't say that.
What did you say?
She don't like that.
We observed on the video later this morning. We had to pull that video.
He said you observed at 1 a.m.
So let's
shit,
be
get his
clear.
ass.
I said what we observed on the video through the investigation. So yes, when they looked at the video this morning after the staff realized they were gone, my investigators found that at 1 a.m. that's what happened.
So no one was watching live video all night.
Oh shit!
I won't say no one was watching live video, but
that's what you say.
There are over 900 cameras.
How did nobody see them leaving the jail?
There are over 900 cameras in this facility.
It's just, how did no one see a massive jailbreak?
We're the why and how is part of the investigation. So we have interviewed, I think, all of our employees, and we are interviewing all of the residents of that particular pod as well. And then there's a lot of people that you've got to wade through their interviews to find out, to get down to the details of what happened. There was somebody on duty.
Sheriff, the source told us that phone calls haven't been monitored over the past week, and escaped inmates were planning how they were going to get out through phone calls. Were y'all monitoring phone calls?
We monitor phone calls all the time. There are 1,400 people in this jail, over the City Council 1250 limit. So can you monitor every single person every day? No, we don't have the bodies to do that. But we do monitor, and we rely on tips, and we have an intelligence unit that monitors what's going on in the jail. There's a lot of things at any given time going on.
But it's your job. It's your job to monitor every single person.
Yo, homeboy's turned up. They're going to fire his ass or something. He's going to disappear. This guy right here, he's going to disappear. They're going to do his ass like they did in California with Mayor Bass, with that fire chief questioned the chick and she spoke out in the media. And they deep sixed her, got rid of her ass, and she got fired and replacing shit. They're gonna get rid of this guy's. He's gingerly. He's very gingerly.
Person in this facility every day.
Visually. with our deputies on the pods. Yes.
I did have a question. The former sheriff, Marlon Gusman, he disputes the claims that there were a lot of issues here at the facility after he left. Do you stand by your statement about the issues with it? And also, we learned that you have a $14 million fund balance. Why wasn't that money used to repair the locks?
The locks.
Can I speak to the
better pass it on.
Speak more intelligently, I believe, to the physical plan in the jail. Not necessarily designed, but at some point this jail was planned, and it was obviously planned to be a minimum custody facility. I don't know what the dynamics of the population was in New Orleans as far as those incarcerated around that time, but that is not the dynamic now. Right now we have 24 pods, and 90% of those pods are populated with high security inmates. Those are people that are predatory, assaultive, violent, and aggressive. So we're in the process now of developing an ad-seg unit because we identified a large number of individuals that needed to be on some type of restrictive housing environment that did not exist at this facility. So it's plenty of deficiencies when we start to talk about the physical plan. So it's not correct to say that those things didn't exist because, I mean, they're prevalent.
This jail opened in 2015, and in 2022 they never had a jailbreak. So when you say it's not built for that, or it's not ready, they never had a jailbreak from 2015 to 2022 like this.
The sheriff says that all the time. She talks about the 83%.
That boy, he on something.
Recidivism rate. So you got people in and out of here all the time. So they've been here and
but you just said this is a minimum security.
No, I said
you said it's a minimum security facility.
I said it was built, had to be built for a minimum. So
they had maximum security inmates in here from 2015 to 2022.
You started talking about lock. I don't know of a max security inmate. Right now they had an objective classification system in place. I don't know if that was in place to identify properly if there were max security. It may have been everybody clumped together. We know now, based on our objective criteria, that we do have people that are classified at a higher security level than what this particular facility was built for.
Yeah, talking about failures in the project, is there any maintenance and service contracts at this time in place? Is there maintenance and service contracts in place? We're talking about failures within the pod. Once again, is there a maintenance and service contract in place? Travis gets asked multiple questions. Let's ask another question.
I really can't
Is there a maintenance and service contract in place with the pod?
There's a murderer in there, right, who had already been convicted, and he was in among these 10, right? Were they in separate cells?
Everyone here is two to a cell, and that's what we have. And we've been in constant communication with anybody that's been convicted with the Department of Corrections to come and pick up those individuals that have been convicted. We have 78 individuals right now. We've been in communication with the Department of Corrections, and they're assured us that they're going to come and get these individuals.
What about Derrick Rose?
I'm not familiar with Derrick Rose. If he's been sentenced, I know he's been here for a long period of time. So if he's been recently sentenced, that's great. He would have been on our list. He may be aware of that. He would be on our list to go to the Department of Corrections. But the Department of Corrections and Public Safety have worked with us to move several inmates that have been sentenced. They come twice a week. I just got off the phone when I stepped out of here then with the Department of Corrections to identify how many individuals we have that have been sentenced, that are taking up space, that are high security people, that have long sentences, and they all are violent.
And what's been done to protect the witnesses in that case? Is there something being done to protect the witnesses who testified against him?
There'll be someone.
That's what Captain Linton addressed. All those have been
Talking about the pods and the deteriorating conditions, is there a maintenance and service contract in place to make repairs? And we're also hearing that critical cameras were down for weeks.
We have, this is our CFO, Bianca Brown, to talk more about that.
Hi, so I'm Bianca Brown. So based upon the question that you asked earlier about the fund balance related to the 2023 audit, I'll give you the breakdown of that. 4.2 million was related to accounts payable. 9.5 million was related to FEMA restricted cash, but capital projects only. The seizure and restricted cash had about 98,000 in it due to others, which was processing fee, DA fees, clerk of courts, NOPD property.
Sound like they need Doge. Send Doge over here to investigate this shit.
They get about 97,000 of that money. We had due to the Department of Public Safety for civilian backgrounds that we conduct. That was about 400,000. And then we also had a detail account that's kind of restricted for radios, body cameras, tactical gear, software, and maintenance for the deputies that they pay based upon their details. So that doesn't exist. That's failed. That money doesn't exist. That was from a 2023 audit that they're reporting on, and those funds don't exist. As of today, that balance is about $6.3 million that is still due out as of 2025.
So if we could answer my question, we asked
What
a
is your question?
Nobody answered.
What is your question?
Once again, we asked.
Yo, look at her eyes. What is your question? Yo, she look like, try me. Say the next. Don't even think about it. What is, like, lasers could shoot out her eyes, yo. Wow. Yo. I gotta screenshot this. This could be a potential thumbnail if we come back on this sometime. Holy shit.
So if we could answer my question, we asked.
What is your question?
Another screenshot in case.
Everybody answered.
What is your
Once
question?
again, we asked multiple times, is there a maintenance and service contract in place to take care of the deteriorating conditions within the pods and within the jail?
We can't
We're also
afford a
hearing that
maintenance
there's
and service
critical cameras that are not
contract.
working.
So right now, we can't afford a maintenance service contract. We have maintenance staff that are on board that do the day-to-day.
Damn, look at this shit. What a crazy video of all of them just running out. Woo! Like, look at this, like celebrating, man. Yeah.
But right now, our current budget sits at about $68 million. $41.1 million comes from the city, $13 million comes from the millage, and about $10.1 million a quarter is given to us. Right now, our payroll is about $9.6. Our food expenses is $780,000 a quarter. That eats up the money. We don't have the funding available to have a full maintenance contract to do this. We've explained this on multiple occasions. Just on Monday, we went to the City Planning Commission and we reported this out. We asked for the money to secure this. So the funding is not available to do what needs to be done, and it hasn't been done.
Not appropriate enough to handle violent offenders like the ones that escaped today. Have you all considered potentially shipping them elsewhere?
We can't afford it.
Some El Salvador, Sacat.
Also, just
oh, then that started a real commotion over there. He considered sending somewhere else.
Potentially shipping them elsewhere.
Shipping them.
also, just really quickly.
Decorum. Yo, this guy's lit. He needs to give send go or GoFundMe.
Your budget is bigger than Marlon Gusman's was. Do you all realize that the last sheriff had a smaller budget than you have?
The budget was bigger, but guess what? Things are being deprived. So what you're seeing is a result of what's happening now. Broken doors, you got facilities, wear and tear. All of that is occurring now due to that budget. This size facility, this should have a $150 million budget easily. The budget that we have, it doesn't support what we need. I've laid out the numbers. You see, it's critical.
I want, if I could, speak to what you said. Have we explored shipping outboarding individuals? Yes, we have. We've sent out numerous individuals, high security people, to various places. Department of Correction and Public Safety has helped us with that. We've sent people to Plaquemine. We've sent people to Catahoula. We've sent people to Madison. We've sent people to Angola. 30%, almost 40% of those individuals we see get remanded back for various reasons. So that takes up space. And the ones we sent to Catahoula, this is important, the ones we sent to Madison and the ones we sent to Plaquemine, all of these are parole violators. So these people are convicted felons that committed a crime here in New Orleans as either a pass-through, having fun, or whatever they were doing, and they ended up in the jail.
And look, circling back, what are you specifically doing to capture violent offenders?
What do you mean?
What is the sheriff's office doing right now to capture these violent offenders?
The sheriff's office is working along with the 200 partner offices that I mentioned earlier in actually capturing these individuals. We're providing critical intel. So we are combing through those phone calls and other messages you mentioned earlier to identify who they communicated with, where they could potentially be. So along with our partners, we are visiting those locations in search of those individuals.
Are those video calls on those iPads recorded as well? Video calls on iPads?
I can't answer whether those are recorded. I know the phone calls are recorded. I don't want to say yes or no on video calls.
Here's a question.
Yes. What are y'all doing to capture?
Chief Mallard just said yes, they are recorded as well.
Murder.
A CMT.
All right, we have one more question.
Okay, if I could. Okay.
The surveillance that we saw that they were wearing their orange jumpsuits, but you said when they got into the neighborhood, they shed their clothes. Was someone there waiting to give them a change of clothes? Did they have clothes as contraband underneath their jumpsuits?
So right now we can't say we haven't seen all of the video to say that from the neighborhood. on whether they had additional clothing, but what we knew is they shed some of their orange.
And a CMT is a civilian position, right? Should maximum security inmates be watched by a civilian CMT? And if you could talk a little bit more, I know you said that they were on a break. Could you give us some more specifics on that?
Sure. So yes, the CMT is a corrections monitoring technician. She is a civilian. She sits in a pod module and observes the pod. That is primarily when we do not have the physical deputy staff to sit on the pod. We have a vacancy rate like every other correctional agency in the country. Every corrections has a 55% vacancy rate across this country. Like us, we are underfunded, understaffed, underpaid. So we do our best to hire staff and retain them, but like everyone else, we're short. So yes, this civilian was assigned to the pod module to observe the pod. When she stepped away to grab food, that is when they began their attempts to escape. By the time she returned, they were already into the cell or gone. So she did not even know that they had made good on their escape or made an attempt to escape.
Sheriff, do you want to speak to the people? I think everybody's live in here. Do you want to say you're sorry to the people of New Orleans for having this happen? I mean,
this dude is turned up. This dude is do you want to say sorry? Do you want to apologize?
Several times today, but do you want to offer any kind of contrition or apology to people for something like this happening?
Well, first we have to find out exactly what happened and how they got out. We think this was intentional. There is much more than meets the eye in this investigation. And why did it happen just right now, right? In the middle, as we're getting ready to start this sheriff's race. This is very suspicious. We know that they had help.
So she's trying to say that she thinks it was set up against her to replace her?
We're showing you they had help. This was coordinated. There's much more than meets the eye. When I have enough information, I'll be glad to talk to the community about my issues or what I need, anything I may need to apologize for. But what I'm telling I'm not finished. But what I'm telling the community, this is a public safety issue first and foremost. There's much more than meets the eye. We are digging, and we are not going to stop until we find out what happened.
Tonight to make sure that your facility is safe. What is OPSO doing tonight to make sure that this facility is safe and that no one else can escape? Once again, Sheriff.
All right, you heard from Sheriff Susan Hudson and officials from the Sheriff's Department. They're trying to explain what happened, a detailed timeline. But
actually took place, but we did receive calls from people who lived inside the Muses apartment complex telling us that they were told to shelter in place around 5:15. You can see those. Let's see if we can get those vehicles going around. But we were told that people who live in the Muses apartment were told to shelter in place around 5:15 this afternoon. Those people said they were shelter places. Just look down there, you can see one of the deputies carrying a large gun in their hand right now. So it seems like whatever was inside was pretty serious or pretty intense. Here, again, we're still working to find out more details. Talking to people in the area. We're now also starting to see more people who are living inside the Muses apartment complex come out to the sidewalk right now. But again, that presence is starting to die down here as multiple vehicles leave this area with those emergency lights on and sirens speeding away from the scene. But we'll be sure to kind of work this area and find out more details about what actually occurred here. But Gina, Sulla, I'm going to toss things back to you all in studio.
Yeah, and Gina, Jonah, earlier you were telling us that you talked to some other residents from Muses, and you said the apartment was on lockdown or they were told to shelter in place. Can you kind of walk us through what they told you again?
Yeah, Sulla, I received a few phone calls and text messages from people who live inside the Muses apartment complex telling me that property management told them to actually shelter in place because it appears that someone walked inside of the building. The person that I was actually on FaceTime with was showing me the police present from their window with multiple people just walking through the apartments and just looking at investigating or looking for someone or something. But we did receive numerous phone calls and text messages from people telling us that they were told to shelter in place. Right now, it look like several people are now leaving, walking toward us. So we'll be here, Sulla, Gina, to learn more and bring you the very latest on air and online.
All right, Jonah, thank you so much. And you can imagine, Gina, they're probably going ahead and taking every single tip and lead seriously. And from here on out, because the FBI is offering a $5,000 reward for any tip and information, and the Crime Stoppers also offering a $2,000 reward where you can remain anonymous. They're, I imagine, getting a lot of tips from viewers.
We just heard that briefing from Sheriff Susan Hudson and other members of the Sheriff's Department. There were so many questions about how this could have happened and who was watching the cameras or who wasn't. Let's listen in to what officials had to say when we asked the question.
Was assigned to the pod module to observe the pod. When she stepped away to grab food, that is when they began their attempts to escape. By the time she returned, they were already into the cell or gone. So she did not even know that they had made good on their escape or made an attempt to escape.
And of course, our crew was out there, Shay O'Connor and Travers Mackel, asking some tough questions, but especially the question about whether they feel any remorse or contrition to the viewers and the people of New Orleans, because everyone is vulnerable right now. We've got graduation ceremonies and people out and about, and 9 inmates have escaped and they're out there. So we asked if they feel sorry about that. But Sheriff Susan Hudson, you heard her response talking about how
we ain't sorry. That's wild. The press was pressing. The press was pressing, but it's true. It is a major concern. It should be a major concern. It seems like it is with some of these people with serious charges. Are they going to go out and kill again? Is the community in danger? They don't want to go back. They don't want to go back. Are the victims in danger? Are lawyers in danger? People that have had them arrested and locked up, cops, the public, schools, who knows if they try to break in somebody's house. That whole area has to be on high alert. This is just crazy. Like I wonder, what's been the biggest breakout? Prison breakout? Probably hundreds or something. The largest prison escape was in 1983 with 111 prisoners, political prisoners, including Uruguayan President Jose Mujica, tunneled out of the high security Punta Carretas Penitentiary in Montevideo, Uruguay. Okay. Well, there's a couple of them. 11 people, man, have run out of this shit. They hightailed it, man. They didn't know they were like excited and happy to get out. Skipping. So 9 still on the loose, on the run. They've only caught 1 person. Damn. And those people now know they're being looked for. They know they're being looked for. So, Jeez. All right, I think that's what we're gonna do. Let's do because I think we'll just come back later and check on the manhunt. I think so I can relax after this. Let's do a little Diddy party. A Diddy party on the second channel. We're just gonna hang out, go over some of the crazy stuff with Diddy. Just come hang out on the second channel. It's gonna be in the shorts or the vertical format. Just help me get into the algorithm. Help me boost the algorithm, the shorts algorithm. Just gonna hang out for a little bit. Diddy, gonna pull up some of the crazy shit. Diddy! It's a Diddy party. Gonna have a... Yeah, they got off anyway, so it's perfect timing. Perfect. How come my shit's not showing up? My video. Redirect. There it is. Boom. All right, give me like 5 minutes. Let me just set up the screen. I'm going to be on my phone, hang out for a little bit. A Diddy party. After party. I should be drinking, but I'm on a dry spell right now. I'm taking it long.